Hi, I'm Sabrina. I come from Italy. After my studies in Science of Communication Advertising, I worked for 4 years in the marketing field, cover different roles from social media manager to ad specialist, from influencer marketing manager to CRM assistant. I decided to join in a data science bootcamp in VBS coding school since in my previous jobs I was always attracted to the data analysis part, and now thanks to this bootcamp I'm able to conduct advanced data analysis and visualization thanks Python and SQL, and build some machine learning models. My final project is a project focused on marketing science, and in particular it's a tool used for defining budget, evaluate campaign performance, have some suggestion about campaign settings in Facebook advertising. So the title of my project is Stop Spinning the Wheel of Fortune, End-to-End Facebook Ad Assistant. If you ask to a Facebook ad specialist how much you have to spend on Facebook, it will answer you depends, and it's true. So if you will ask a second question, okay, let's say I want to reach 50,000 people, how much I have to spend? The answer will be always depends. So I was struggling to find an online tool that give me these exact answers, so I decided to build one to myself. If someone doesn't know how Facebook ad works, actually the price on Facebook ads is based on an action system where ads compete for impression based on bid and performance. So when you run your ad on Facebook, you will charge only for the number of clicks and the number of impressions you are received. On the right, you can see an example of an ad on Facebook, and you can recognize this ad in general by the label sponsored and the call to action, in this case, shop now. Before to deep dive about the project, I want to explain, so KPIs will encounter during the presentation. So will we have the impression, that means how many times your content was displayed on a screen. The reach is the total number of individual unique user who saw your ad or content. The clicks is the number of click of the ad. The conversion is how many times a specific action was completed. The budget is the amount of money you want or are willing to spend on your ad. The click-through rate is the ratio percentage between impression and clicks, and measure in general the engagement of the ad. The cost per click means the cost for each click. The cost per thousand is the price of 1,000 advertising impression on one ad. And the return of investment is the relation between the ad cost and the revenue, and general measure the profitability of an ad. The project is divided in 4 parts: budget calculator, KPIs prediction, campaign analysis, and campaign recommender. About the first part, so the budget calculator, the goal was defining the budget given reach, industry, and country. About the data source, I used this website AdCostly, and I use Python, the library is Python request to extract the data, and Postman to make a call, since this website it's a dynamic and need a registration, and then store all this data to one CSV and MySQL table. And here we have a screenshot. So defining the country like Italy, the industry gaming app, and I want to reach 10,000 people, I have to spend 128 euros. The second part is the KPIs prediction. So given the previous inputs, what I have to expect. So here I built two linear regression models, one to define the clicks based on budget and reach, and one to define the conversion based on the previous clicks predicted and the budget, using linear, also here, linear regression model. About the data source, I use a Kaggle dataset based on focus on Facebook advertising. And like the tool, I use Python to conduct this machine learning model. And here you can see selecting your average revenue and having some initial KPI values like clicks, conversion, budget, and reach. I will calculate all the KPIs and values like impression, revenue, ROI, CPM, CTR, and so on. The third part is relating to campaign analysis. Here we have two goals. One regarding analyze campaign performance using linear regression for new and returning users, and another one checking performance evolution for returning user. The data source, we don't have here an actual data source, but will be the user inputs, and here the tool will be Python and MySQL and Amazon Web Service to store this input into the cloud for returning users. Here, so we have a little extract. So we have the initial input and the outcome. The outcome will be the actual CPC, for example, and the predicted CPC in order to evaluate your campaign, if your campaign is good or not. And another part is for the returning users. So if someone already used this tool, I want to analyze previous campaigns, selecting yes and yes, you will return a line chart in order to analyze performance for clicks, conversion, CPC, and so on. And they can choose also if they want to analyze new campaigns. The last part is regarding campaign recommender. So the goal here was suggesting campaigns based on the creative. So if they use a video or an image or a carousel, and the data source was a Kaggle dataset. I use for linear regression, was a really good data source. And about the tool, I will use Python, so pandas and so on. And here a little extract, and so selecting the video, I will return some suggestions like impression, clicks, spend, revenue, and so on for each creative. And every time a user click on video, I will return different campaign settings and KPIs. The final delivery, it's a Streamlit app that anyone can use from not technical and technical audience, with some adjustment also by the company. Thanks.